Looking for these better days.
It is Friday, August 22nd. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. NFL preseason week 3 officially underway. The Giants get a win and cover against the Patriots last night. Steelers with a win and cover against the Panthers. First game goes under, second game goes over. We'll take a look at the preseason football games for tonight, but it's week 0 of college football. That's right, real games tomorrow, which means this is our first Football Friday of the 2025 season and the first Football Friday of the Better Day podcast. Jared Smith alongside me here on this pod. Jared, it's a Football Friday. We have made it. Tomorrow, there are regular season football games in college football. Like, they count towards the standings.
Yeah, they're not the best of the games, although we do have one elite game and then I would say like an undercard. It's like one main event, which is actually the first game of the day, early in the day across the pond, and then it'll kind of taper off from there. But we do have a late, it's weird, it's the Hawaii game, but it's not Hawaii time. It's like afternoon Hawaii game, 4:30 here local here in the Pacific time zone. So not quite the late night Hawaii bailout that we're used to, but I'm excited for Iowa State, K-State. We saw some movement in the market earlier in the week, very early in the week, onto the key of 3. And, you know, I think that number's pretty much been sitting right on 3, and maybe it'll drift back towards K-State a little bit, but it looks like that'll be kind of the close. But that's really the only impactful game of the week. Next week's really when the fun really starts.
Sure, it's the appetizer. We're going to get into some best bets for tomorrow's games coming up, but I want to get you guys first set up for what you need to bet on here tonight in football, and that is 4 extra preseason games or 4 additional preseason games tonight. Last night we saw the Giants put up 42 points, Jared, 42 points against the Patriots, and you look at the 3 preseason games for the New York Giants. They scored 34 points against the Bills, 31 against the Jets, and 42 against the Patriots. So I guess this just means that we're guaranteed Giants over 5.5 wins, and they're a playoff team, right?
I bet under 5.5 on the Giants. I actually bet 29 of the 32 win totals this week. I bet all 32, not all for a lot, usually for small amounts, but there's 3 more left. I've got to go over to one of the books in town to get a good number. But I'm under on the Giants, 5.5. The preseason, I'm not looking up anything into that. They let Jackson Dart eat, and Tommy DeVito tonight. I mean, we've seen that road before, so not going to overreact to what we saw in the preseason.
Probably the last time we see Tommy Cutlets in a New York Giants uniform, and a good audition though for him to maybe secure a spot with another team. I had the Giants last night, and I laid a bad number actually. I had the Giants -6. They closed at -4.5. And I had no idea why the line steamed against the Giants last night. Because if you looked at the quarterback situation, you knew the information was out there. It was going to be Jackson Dart to start the game and Tommy DeVito for the entire second half. Now, I didn't know that Jameis Winston was going to play. In fact, that was a bonus for me. But all I knew was, hey, Jackson Dart first half, Tommy DeVito second half. And I figured against Ben Woolridge, who's competing with Josh Dobbs for a backup spot there in New England, the Giants' quarterback depth was going to be the reason why they were going to win this football game. And the line steamed against me, so I had negative closing line value, but New York still got the job done. And as I mentioned, could be the last time we see Tommy DeVito. Yes, that did go into my handicap because I figured, you know what? I think the team's going to play hard for him, and I think Dable's going to let him eat. And even though whatever the score was, whatever the situation was, I didn't think the Giants were going to play it safe or run the football. I think they were going to say, hey, Tommy, you go out there, you put as much stuff on film as possible because we love you. We have no spot for you on our team, but maybe somebody else picks you up. And I think these are the dream scenarios you look for in preseason football week number 3, Jared, to bet on.
Very good handicap. That's why the line, which opened New England as a slight favorite, flipped. I think at some point, right, like we talked about it earlier in the week, at some point a -2.5 goes to a +6, and the market says, listen, we just have to take New England here with a total of 36. Like when the line moves 7.5, 8 points, right? We talked about it. Like the math just says at some point there has to be value on the other side. How much could Jackson Dart possibly be worth over Ben Woolridge? Like it just, I mean, I think at some point the number just has to stop. Same thing with Pittsburgh and Carolina, right? Carolina opened a 3-point favorite, closed a 6-point dog. They lost by 9. Game was the total was incredibly low in basically the low 30s. It was only 29 points and scored in the game, still stayed under. So the fade the steam theory didn't work in those 2 games, but you can kind of see why at some point there just has to be value on the other side of the market. But when you get these crazy results, especially the Vito situation, as you mentioned, that is a situational handicap that is so unique in the preseason because of the factors you laid out. And it's true. Like, they really do have a win one for the Gipper kind of vibe with DeVito, and they clearly showed that. You don't see 40 points scored in the preseason too often. Like, usually you let your foot off the gas and you just kind of coast. They scored 28 points in the second half of that game. I think they outscored them 28.
He threw 3 touchdowns. It was great.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was just it was arguably one of the it was the Tommy DeVito legacy game pretty much.
Oh, the crowd loved it there. I mean, if the Giants were on the road, maybe this is a different handicap, but
sure,
it played out perfectly for him to have his beautiful send off there at MetLife Stadium last night. Tonight we have another game at MetLife. The Jets are home and they are hosting the Eagles. I have a handicap on this game, Jared. I've been dying to run by you. I've given it out before. I talked about it on the pod yesterday. So those that listened to yesterday's pod and got the newsletter yesterday morning, you already got this bet. And the bet is the New York Jets. Okay, so you've already gotten this bet. It's been up on the website as well at betterday.com. The bet's been up there. The reason why I love the Jets in this game, did you hear, Jared, about the Jets' secret practice this week?
The secret super practice.
Hey, they're running the super secret play. They're standing around, butts.
Yeah, they're
the little Giants, right? They got the lineman in the backfield. The wide receiver is out, and the quarterback, he's not even there.
That's such a great scene in that movie. Ed O'Neill, man. Ed O'Neill is absolute.
It's
awesome.
just I love that. They're standing around, butts. So the Jets get demolished by the Giants on Saturday, okay? Now, the day after a game on Sunday, you play on Saturday. The day after the game would normally be, treatment day, film study day, maybe a walkthrough, if that. Well, word got released yesterday. The Jets held a practice on Saturday. It was run by the players. Justin Fields ran the offensive drills. A linebacker ran the defense. Sherwood, I think. They ran the defensive drills, right? And the only coach that was there was Aaron Glenn. No assistant coaches, no other staff members, no media was allowed. This was a secret practice that the Jets, they referred to as a walkthrough. And I think it's probably because they're probably going to get fined by the NFL, for probably violating CBA rules with practice. Who knows? But they said it was a walkthrough in air quotes. To me, this signaled something. And it might sound cheesy, but it felt like a Herb Brooks moment with the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team when they got their ass kicked by Russia in the exhibition game at Madison Square Garden. He had them skating the suicides after the game. Again. Go watch the movie Miracle if you don't know what I'm talking about. True story. It felt to me, hearing that story, that Aaron Glenn was so bothered by the Jets' performance on Saturday that he said, hey, no treatment tomorrow. No walkthrough. Put your pads on. We're practicing. No media, no coaches. You guys do your own thing, but we're practicing. And it tells me that unlike other coaches that might just want to get out of Dodge healthy in week number 3 of the preseason, it tells me Aaron Glenn's coaching to win this game tonight. So I'm on the Jets because I think he wants to win this game, and I think the players want to win this game as opposed to just stay healthy and let the backups play.
I think the handicap is spot on. The issue that I have with it is, man, if you're doing this in the preseason, like, the games haven't even started yet. I am concerned that the Jets are just one of those units that might not have their you-know-what together when it comes time to really play these games. But, yeah, I think for the preseason, especially against the Eagles, who are clearly off in La-La Land, doing their own thing. Like, I am fascinated. I think these are two teams playing later tonight that I am fascinated to see how they start the season. I have under on both the Jets. I got 6 wins flat. I prefer playing integers if I can, other than the hooks, because for win totals, you have to get that whole extra mile to
Mhm.
beat you, and you get the push. Like I'm doing it with the Rams right now. There's a lot of 9.5s out there. I'd rather play under 10 because then if they have to win 11 games for me to lose the bet. Same thing with the Jets.
Exactly.
Now they have to lose 7, or excuse me, win 7 in order for me to lose the bet. So there's probably 5.5s out there plus money the under. I'd rather pay for the 6. And yeah, I'm under on the Eagles too because I think they've got their offensive hangover issues that might pop up on the AJ Brown injury, which looks to be maybe a little bit more significant than we expect. But yeah, these are two very interesting teams. The culture. I think that's the key to this, Scott. I think this is the Jets implementing their cult. This is what they want the culture to be. They want it to be chip off the old block, Dan Campbell type stuff. They want it to
Well,
be
it's
player
Aaron. It's
driven.
Aaron Glenn pulling a Parcells. It's Aaron Glenn saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
I learned under Bill Parcells. This is what Coach Parcells would do, and so this is what I'm
absolutely.
going to do. This is the Parcells way." And
Yep.
I like it. I mean, I'm an old school football guy. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the
I
no
like it,
nonsense
but it just
approach.
it might be a rough year. I like the culture, but the culture has
Hmm.
to be built through tough times first. They have to go through some really tough times, and they have to come together as a team.
Yeah,
And I think losing a preseason game to the Giants is not the rock bottom. That's not it's not rock
but
it's not rock
but
bottom.
the
I think we're
but the
gonna hit
Snoopy
rock bottom at
Trophy.
some point during the regular season.
But the Snoopy Trophy. They're trying to win the Snoopy Bowl. Come
They're
on.
trying to win the stupid Snoopy Bowl. Who cares about the Snoopy Bowl? But definitely they're good. I think the handicap for this week makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
That's what I like for tonight's game. Other games for tonight, the Falcons are at the Cowboys. Current odds here as we look at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Dallas minus 2.5, your total 36.5. We have much lower totals here in week 3 of the preseason, which I totally understand. I just don't have a feel for this game because if we're looking at the backup situation, like I obviously favor Joe Milton over anybody on the Falcons right now. I mean, Ben DiNucci just signed with the Falcons. Like, he's probably going to get some playing time later in the second half of this game. So it would be Cowboys or pass for me. Vikings are at the Titans. Right now, the Titans are 3.5-point favorites, total of 37.5. And then I think a really interesting game, Jared, is the late one tonight.
Yeah.
And that is the Chiefs hosting the Bears. Right now, Kansas City is a 2.5-point favorite, total of 41.5. Why do I think Ben Johnson's got something up his sleeve? Why do I think that we're going to see, I don't know if we're going to see Caleb Williams. Maybe we do. But Tyson Bagent just got his contract. Like, it feels like Ben Johnson's up to something.
This is probably the last game they're going to win for a few weeks. So yeah, you might want to get this one out of the way. I don't think they're winning in Minnesota against Minnesota that Monday night, and then that game at Detroit's real tough, man. That's a tough spot to play Detroit. Short week after facing Brian Flores' defense. Those are two tough games. I think their first real winnable game is that home game against Dallas in week 3. I think that's the first game they're going to win. But I would say the Bears have taken some money, so it's the highest total on the board this week. I think that indicates what kind of play they expect this game. Highest total on the board this week. Only game with a total in the 40s. Only game with a total above 39. Like the highest total of the week, other than that, is 39. Denver, New Orleans. So they obviously think probably Bagent, maybe Williams, but definitely Bagent's going to play and probably play pretty well.
Well, we already know that, or at least if we believe him, Ben Johnson did tell Kay Adams earlier this week that, like, the starters are going to play.
Oh,
I don't know how
Caleb,
long.
Probably one drive.
But
Probably
one drive, and then you'll get. But he just said his quote was like, he's like, "We're going to play, play, and then we'll evaluate. We're going to play." But
my
like
guess
we
is
know,
they're very short. I wouldn't bank on Caleb playing for more than a drive or two, max 2 drives, max.
But we do know, and the reason why I think probably why the Chiefs are favored is that Reed said that, hey, the starters might play the opening drive as well. So I think
I wouldn't move the number off of one drive. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, that's the thing. But we saw week 1 of the preseason, all these numbers moved off the information that starters were going to play, and the starters barely played. But yet every single one of those teams took steam. And so to me, I think the value here clearly lies in the Bears because if Patrick Mahomes is going to play a series, like, okay, the Chiefs might win the first quarter, but then the rest of the game, I'm going to have Tyson Bagent for a long period of time
and Case Keenum
against Chiefs backups. Like, I just feel like Gardner Minshew against Tyson Bagent and the Ben Johnson. It just feels like
Minshew might not even play. Like the Colts, for example, are resting both Richardson. Don't even get me started on that. If you're the Colts, how are you not playing Richardson on Saturday? What I don't get it. Get the guy more reps. It makes zero sense. Get these guys reps, but Minshew doesn't need the reps. And they really need him if something happens to Mahomes. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a lot of who's their third stringer. Is it Desmond Ritter, right?
it's no for the
No,
Chiefs.
that's Washington.
It's I just had the name in my head too. It's Minshew and then
I've got it right here. Hold on. Oh,
yeah,
Zappy
Bailey
and
Zappi. That's right, Bailey Zappi.
Oladu
Yep.
Oladu. Yeah, see, I like the Bears bet. Bagent, Keenum, and Reed. I think I would bet the Bears. I think that would be my best bet of the night, actually, in the NFL. I'd bet the Bears at a plus price.
There you go. Bears money line, if you're interested, up on FanDuel right now, plus 110. You get the plus 2.5, but you got to lay a little juice on that plus 2.5, so it's probably going to come down to 2. And that total, as Jared mentioned, it is the highest on the board right now, 41.5, currently up on FanDuel. That'll do it for the NFL portion of this Football Friday. Let's get into college football, Jared. Let's talk about that first game, okay? First game of the day, week 0. It counts. Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland. Number 22, Iowa State. Number 17, Kansas State. And right now, we got Kansas State as the field goal favorite. The total in this game, and some books even have 3.5. Okay, I'm looking at FanDuel's got 3.5 right now, Kansas State. Total is 50.5. What was your early thoughts on this game, and then where have you settled in as we're a day away from kickoff?
Yeah, like we caught wind of some groups catching taking the 4 with Iowa State. So I took a little bit of that. Now down to 3. I mean, I that was even before I even looked at the matchups. Now that I've really had a chance to look at the matchups, I kind of like K-State at 3. I mean, both teams are kind of similar on paper, sort of. Like they both have their quarterbacks returning. They both have a lot of production missing, but in different areas. For Kansas State, it's up front. They lost 2 all-conference blockers. They had another starting offensive lineman leaving the portal. So really only have 2 returnees up front, and they have a lot of transfers, but they're all Power 4 transfers. Giddens is gone. He's run for over 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns the last 2 years. I think Avery Johnson has a very high ceiling at quarterback for Kansas State, but it's fair to question the blockers, fair to question the running game. For Iowa State, they lost their 2 big receivers, right? Higgins and Noel, both top 80 picks in the NFL draft. We love Rocco Becht. He's elusive. He's kind of a tough guy quarterback, but I think Avery Johnson has a higher ceiling. And if you're going to give me, a point in Kansas State's favor, I think both defenses are kind of Kansas State's better up front, even though they lost their best defender. For Iowa State, they run this like 3-3-3 stack defense, which I hate. I think K-State's actually have pretty good success on the ground in this game. The question is, is Avery Johnson going to turn it over a bunch, which he did last year? So if he fixes the turnovers and they run it, I think K-State wins this game.
I like the under early, but I like the over late. And that's where I'm going to be on this game. So if I had to make a bet right now, which, I mean, I already have, but it would be on the first quarter to go under, okay? The first quarter total up on DraftKings right now, FanDuel right now, 10.5, minus 142 to the under, worth the squeeze. The bet to me right now is first quarter under 10.5. At that point, Jared, I'm going to look at an in-game over. I think both of these teams start the season off slow because unlike what we see in the NFL, there is no preseason in college football. Sure, you can run some scrimmages, you can run some practices with your practice squad, you got the spring game to get ready for some things, but whereas teams used to have that cupcake game to open up the season against the Sisters of the Poor, and then they would play their conference games or whatever, now you're opening up against a big-time conference opponent here, and you got 2 top 25 teams playing each other in week number 1. I think there'll be a feeling-out process early. I can see both teams a little sluggish, a little sloppy to start the game, but then they'll find their groove, and I can see the full game going over, but I'd rather take an adjusted over once the game starts off. If it happens like I think it's going to happen, starts off slow, we'll get a better number on this over in-game.
Yeah, I mean, they're shading. I see 50.5, and there's a sharp shop that has 51. So, I mean, that tells you right there, 50.5. They think 51 is probably the right number. K-State lost their offensive coordinator, Connor Riley, who's also their offensive line coach. He's now in the NFL. So yeah, I could absolutely see there being a little bit of a slower pace to maybe Kansas State's tempo early. They did promote from within Matt Wells, so it's continuity they still have. They're going to pound the rock. Kansas State's going to run the ball in this game. That 3-3-5 that Iowa State plays, it's just
Mm.
inviting the run. It's very light boxes. They're kind of confusing you against the pass, but they play a very light box. So Avery Johnson's going to be pounding the rock all day long. And yeah, you would think the run game will become more effective as the game goes on. Another thing to consider too, I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but what's the turf going to be? We've seen, issues. This game's been played in Ireland. It's not being played, it's on the pitch. It's not on a, American football field. So just keep, do a little research there. I haven't personally looked at that, what the turf conditions are, what the field conditions are, but that is definitely something to keep in mind
Looks
before you
like
get to Saturday morning.
looks like the conditions appear to be beautiful.
Perfect.
Looks like
So then you don't have to worry
with
about it then.
temperatures hovering around 21 degrees Celsius with the breeze at 13 kilometers per hour.
Sure.
That's the
That's a little
report
stiff.
coming.
I'm more interested about the field turf and what they're playing on.
Yeah. So
'Cause remember
70 degrees Fahrenheit.
we've seen some issues with the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before in that
Mhm.
regard. Again, I don't know. I'm not I'm not a turf expert. B, there's one game played on this turf every year, and it's very random. So keep an eye on that. But I think K State wins. I think at 3, K State's the bet, and I like
Okay.
your total strategy with the
Yeah.
first
Early.
quarter under, maybe second half over.
Yep, that's where I'm going. Other games on the schedule for tomorrow, you have UNLV here in Vegas hosting Idaho State. And you want to talk about steam. I mean, UNLV has taken steam. They are now up to a 27.5-point favorite. This is like a 4 or 5 point move from where we were on the open. And the more I talk to people, it could just be local bias, Jared, but there's a lot of hype surrounding this team this year. I mean, Dan Mullen, we know what he can do with offense. He brought in a bunch of good guys in the transfer portal. It feels like, well, we know they're the second team in this conference behind Boise State, right? It's all going to come down to that game on the blue turf. But to have this big of a move for a week 1 game, I know it's Idaho State. Does UNLV win by 4 touchdowns?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bet Idaho State.
Yeah.
I think you give Mullen the benefit of the doubt until he gives you a reason not to. From everything I've heard, they've recruited really well. They're running it like an NFL program. They're practicing at the Raiders facility. He has connections through the roof. He's obviously bringing in a lot of SEC people. I know some of his staff, for example, one of his recruiting directors used to work with Nick Saban. I just think they're very professional in how they go about their business. And when you bring that to the Mountain West, I think it's going to have success. Now, X's and O's wise, we'll see. I think Alex Orji's going to take snaps for them. So they're going to be unique at the quarterback position. It might be a little bit of a dual threat. I think they actually have 2 guys that they're going to run, Orji and one other guy. I forget the other name.
Calandria.
There you go. The kid from Virginia. That's right. So we'll see who wins that job. We'll see how it goes. I think Boise State, just based off reputation alone, still deserves a slight nod in the Mountain West. But make no mistake, if this UNLV team plays to the ceiling, they are very much in the CFP Group of 5 discussion.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's going to come down to them and Boise.
Yeah.
And they'll probably play twice this year. They'll play once in that regular season game, and then they're going to play in the Mountain West Championship game. And the winner of that regular season game is going to have the leg up because that team is going to wind up hosting the Mountain West title game. So if Boise State wins in the regular season, then UNLV has to go to Albertson Stadium to play in the Mountain West title game. That's a difficult task there. But I do think that I was looking at like the futures odds, and you can get something like plus 500 or so for UNLV to win the Mountain West. I actually think the better move might just be to bet. I think the better move might just be to bet them in both games against Boise State.
Yeah, or just bet them to make the playoff because if they win the Mountain West, they're probably making the playoff.
Yes.
I don't know what that. I don't know what the difference is between those odds. You might have to shop around a little bit. They are very live. And they're gonna kick the crap out of Idaho State on Saturday. That's for sure.
Might take a look at like a team total here. UNLV to make
you might
the college.
get some fun games. The extra games
Yeah.
usually they pop up those derivative markets pretty late because this is an extra game.
UNLV to make the playoff is plus 1,500.
I would rather have that than 5-1 on them to win the Mountain West.
It's a great point because I mean, if you think they're plus 650 now to win the Mountain
Who is
West.
the other?
But
who is
who's
the other team that comes from the Group of 5? If UNLV wins the Mountain West and unseats a team that was a top 4 team in the CFP last year, they're making the freaking playoff.
So it's like because you're fighting for that 12 seed, right? So it's who's going to be the highest ranked champion. You just have to. I mean, you're going to have to battle against the American, right? It's Tulane or Navy, or it's the winner of the American. Are they going to be ranked higher than UNLV?
Maybe. I'll take.
That's
I
the
think the
question.
gap there between 650 and 15-1 feels pretty good for
It's
that,
worth it.
though.
Yeah, it's a good shot. It's a good long shot.
I also think
You,
Mullen get right. You also right. The handicap of the CFP is still also it's like an awards market.
mm,
People are voting, and Mullen is a name. Mullen
sure,
will attract an extra vote or two just based off of the SEC bias, and also Vegas becoming this big market now in sports. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
there's a chance that if he is able to raise the level to the ceiling of the potential, there's money in town, and there's operations that can be pushed towards them being a legit program. It's gonna be fun
for
to
sure.
watch. I hope they live up to it. There's definitely a little bit of bias though here in town.
Yeah, absolutely. Elsewhere, you got Kansas hosting Fresno State. Kansas a 13-point favorite, and we got a total here of 50 and a half, it looks like. Any feel for this game?
No, we saw 14 early with Fresno. Kansas
Mm-hmm.
lost a lot. They lost Neal. They lost a couple of receivers. They still have Jalen Daniels coming back, but that's about it. I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
off of 14, if it gets back to 14, I think the Sharps like Fresno State, from what I heard.
Yeah, I have no feel for this game at all, to be honest with you. I mean, I had a slight
Yeah,
inclination towards the over, but I have absolutely nothing on this game. In this next
Daniel's
game
a really
here,
good player. Daniel's the
yeah,
best
we
player on
know
the
that,
field. That's
sure.
really all I know about this game.
Sam Houston State takes on Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky minus 10.5. Total is 61.5. I like the under here, and
Mm,
it has nothing to
wow.
do with any. It has nothing to do with any handicapping. It just has to do with the fact that I have seen the number maybe go down a bit, and I'm steam chasing right now. That's about it.
Yeah, we saw Western Kentucky take some money too. I think so early for me with college football, less is more. Um, these teams have so much turnover. If I know a number is going to move and I like the side, I will bet it just based off of that alone. If I get some information that something's about to move. But outside of that, I like to really even week one. I don't have a lot. I don't really have much on my plate. Just a few totals that I caught wind that were moving, so I jumped on them. But I don't really have a really strong opinion yet. A lot of these teams. A few of the teams at the top I do, but not in these early games.
Finally, you mentioned it earlier. It's not a late game, which wish it was, just because it's so awesome when you have that late game, like the Hawaii game. I mean, how many
Yeah.
times living on the East Coast, Jared? How many times have you been awake for that late Hawaii second half? That desperation bet at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. You're just you're grasping at straws here, and you got that Hawaii second half bet coming for that late kickoff. It's just it's nostalgic college.
Yeah.
But Hawaii Hawaii will host Stanford here. We've had a flip of the favorite in this game. So Stanford was a favorite. All the money came in on Hawaii. Hawaii is now a 2.5 point favorite. I went in on Hawaii money line. It is now at minus 125 up on
Wow.
FanDuel. Total here is 50.5. And to me, it's all about this offense for Hawaii. They have the kid from Vegas is their quarterback
Yep.
from Bishop Gorman,
Yep.
who never lost a game in high school. I mean, you go look at this kid's high school record. It's absolutely unbelievable. But in this Timmy Chang offense, I mean, they are going to throw the ball and throw it all over the place. So last year, the quarterback, Mike Alejado, is that how you pronounce it?
I think
This
so.
kid, he played one game last year. It was against New Mexico, last game of the year. He threw for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Wow.
He also rushed for over 50 yards. I think this kid's good, and I think that this offense is going to be good. Stanford, meanwhile, I think they're a mess. What, they had to get Andrew Luck had to call Frank Reich in to coach this team because they lost their coach like a month ago? Come on. Hawaii's the move for me. Hawaii,
Yeah,
right now. Let's
Stanford's
go.
gonna be
Book it.
bad. I bet under
Yep.
54.5 very early, back on July 25th, almost a full month ago. Because I had we caught wind that was gonna move down. Now at 50.5, I would say bet the over.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're at then on 50 when total moves 4 points. I mean, that's a pretty big move in college football. But yeah, we haven't hit a key yet. So I guess there's maybe still a little bit of value on Hawaii. Haven't hit a key yet. Still at 2.5. I see a 2 out there. Maybe just bet Hawaii money line, right?
That's what I did.
Screw it.
Just take the
Hawaii
money
money
line.
line.
Yep. hmm That's the play. I think the Rainbow Warriors start the season with a victory. Week 0. It's crazy. So excited. College football is officially here, and NFL regular season action will be here before we know it. Let's talk some Major League Baseball, shall we?
This New Year's Eve, Las Vegas shines brighter than ever at the Dream Lantern Fest at Apex Lake Bed. Join 25,000 dreamers illuminating under the night sky. Upgrade to a VIP diamond experience, including an open bar and a luxury suite at the Wind or the Venetian. Pre-sale starts now and ends August 25th. Enter our lucky midnight strike with cash drops up to $1 million. Get your tickets today at dreamdunes.org.
Baseball yesterday, Jared, we had 9 games on your Thursday schedule. A lot of day games, getaway day situations. A lot of 4-game series that are beginning. We had a couple of 4-game series that wrapped up, but it was a 9-game schedule. 8-1 to the over. It felt like a public day yesterday, Jared.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Getaway days can be tricky.
Yep. Some dogs did win. You had the Nationals beating the Mets. You had the Red Sox beat the Yankees last night. And what other underdogs came through here? Brewers beat the Cubs as dogs. And so the A's Twins as well. But 8-1 to the over yesterday. Let's see if it carries in to your Friday action. Tonight we have the Rockies at the Pirates. Antonio Sanzatella for the Rockies and Ben Ashcraft going for the Pirates. Nationals are at the Phillies. Phillies just playing great baseball right now. Taijuan Walker goes for Philly. Cade Cavalli for the Nationals. Phillies minus 175. It feels like the Nationals, who are coming off 2 upset wins over the New York Mets, it's the fade time now. Like, I don't think they carry this momentum into Philadelphia. I think the better team
Totally
just kind of,
agree. I was thinking that today. I was like, the Nats
beats
have
them
won
here.
2 in a row. That's fade time.
Yeah. 2 in a row against the Mets at home. Like, you feel good about yourself,
Yeah.
right? Especially because the Mets have this big payroll, and it's like, hey, we kicked their ass, and now you got to go play the Phillies in Philadelphia, where they are just humming right now. 40-21 at home. They've won 4 straight games. Philly's just clicking on all cylinders right now. So it would be Philly or pass for me. Yankees and Red Sox do it again tonight in the Bronx, Jared, and I'm curious your thoughts about this. Max Fried starts for the Yankees. They're minus 165. Brian Bayo goes for the Red Sox. Red Sox win last night. Chapman gets the save. 6-3 is the win. Max Fried, in his last several starts, 7 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs. He had a 5.54 ERA in July and a 9 ERA here in August. Something's not right with Max Fried.
Yeah, usually pitchers do go through this. He's had injuries in the past. You hope it's not that. To be fair,
Well, he had a blister. He was dealing with a blister. I don't know if that's affecting him still, but
it could be.
you know.
It could be. To be fair, like when he does find it, it'll go back to 1, 2 earned runs real quick.
Mhm.
I'm more concerned about the 4 errors because that's what bit them in the ass in the World Series last year. That to me is the bigger concern last night. Just completely sloppy with the baseball. I think I saw a Jazz Chisholm quote that went viral after the game about how bad they were. That is more concerning because if that's going to go south, you don't really have the rest of the team clicking on all cylinders right now. You're kind of going, other than Stanton, who's the only hot one. Judge is kind of treading water. The rest of the team is kind of, pushing through, especially the starting pitching. So the defense has to show up every night, and last night it wasn't there.
And the bullpen, terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Bednar blows the save
They've
2
been
nights
bad
ago.
all year. The bullpen's been kind of up and down all year.
Weaver
They
couldn't
tried to
hold.
fix
Weaver
it,
couldn't
but
hold it yesterday. Yeah, it's been bad.
I think they
wanna play
still make the playoffs. I do think they still make the playoffs. But last night was definitely not their best night.
I'd play the over tonight. That's what I would play because I think Fried's going to give up runs, and I think the Yankees offense can get to Bayo. And we know, hey, if they keep making errors, more runs are going to score. So I'd play, especially because you got Max Fried on the mound. You're kind of getting a discount on this total. It's at 8.5, and I feel like between the Yankees and the Red Sox, it should actually be 9 or 9.5. So I would go ahead. Yeah, I'd play over 8.5 right now, Yankees and Red Sox. Astros are at the Orioles. Lance McCullers for the Astros. Cade Povich for Baltimore. Astros finally snapped out of their slump yesterday. This is a team that had lost 4 straight games, got shut out in 4 of their last 5 games, 4 out of the last 6 games they got shut out in. But they broke out 7-2, a win yesterday for the Astros. We'll see if they carry that momentum here tonight. Royals are at the Tigers. Ryan Bergert for the Royals. Casey Mize for Detroit. Blue Jays are at the Marlins. Shane Bieber, Jared, makes his Blue Jays debut.
Wow.
We haven't seen Shane Bieber pitch. We haven't seen Shane Bieber pitch since early in last season. 2 games he pitched for Cleveland. Now he makes his Toronto debut tonight.
I have no idea what he has. I haven't looked up his
Yeah.
I'm sure he's had a bunch of minor league outings. No idea what he has left in the tank. I mean, let's talk in best case, worst case. Worst case, he's a disaster and Toronto needs to reload. Best case, the ceiling I would say is pretty high. If he has anything left. I mean, he's a guy that has a ton of experience, and that's what Toronto's lacking right now is postseason experience. They're going to get to the playoffs, and they're going to be deer in headlights because these kids have never been there before, and he has it. So that would be interesting if he has something left. I have no idea if he has anything left, though. No idea.
I just looked this up. Right now, the Blue Jays are minus 162. Now, we don't know who the pitcher yet is for Miami.
Yeah.
I feel like
Marlins have been feisty, too, especially down there in Miami.
I think we have to bet the Blue Jays. Or maybe Blue Jays first 5 because
the Bieber believer return.
I'm gonna read this to you, okay? Shane Bieber's final rehab start, August 15th, AAA Buffalo Bisons, 7 scoreless innings, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Overall, in his performance, by the way, of those 90 pitches, 64 for strikes. He threw 29 innings in 7 rehab starts this year. An ERA of 1.86, 37 strikeouts, only 3 walks, and his average fastball velocity, 92.5 miles per hour, which is actually higher than his last full season for the Cleveland Guardians.
So this is a guy that was the Cy. People forget because it was the 2020 year, but he won the Cy Young.
Yeah, it's fake. It's fake. It's like the Lakers winning the championship. It never happened.
He still had a 1.63 ERA in that season with a WHIP of sub-1. Listen, this is and he's 29 years old. He's 30 now. It was his last season, 29. If he has anything left in the tank, that is a massive addition to Toronto's pitching staff for the playoffs. I don't know if they're, and I might be wrong. Barrios maybe he's played in 1. Is there Gossman maybe 2? I don't know what their past history is, but the lineup with Vlad and with Bichette and those young guys, Varsha, like those guys have never seen the postseason. So it will be a very interesting, kind of comeuppance when they get there. To have a guy like Bieber on the staff would be huge, huge.
I'm gonna go Blue Jays first 5 tonight. I'm gonna back Bieber.
You have
Blue
to.
Jays first 5 is where we're at here for this game tonight. Elsewhere on the schedule, the Mets are at the Braves, and Joey Wentz goes for the Braves. For the Mets, it'll be Nolan McLean, the rookie who made his debut last week and was phenomenal in his first career Major League start. 5 1/3 shutout innings against the Mariners. Only 2 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts for Nolan McLean in his Major League debut. I mean, the Mets are not playing good baseball right now, but do we back this kid?
I don't know. I think you stay away from the Mets like the plague right now.
I might just be interested in the under for the game. Maybe just go with the under.
If this kid Wentz. How are the Mets been against lefties this year?
Let's see. Oh, well, let's look at Wentz's just numbers.
You're much more in the baseball
in his
street
career
at this point. I have pretty much given up on baseball with the occasional prop or nerfy that might come across my way.
Well, we're gonna find the nerfy because the last pod
I was looking at the board before we came on.
We cashed 2 already.
There's not much that I like. I will listen. Anytime a nerfy catches my fancy, Scott, you will be the first to know. I did see a couple of people I trust on the Ryan Nelson strikeout prop tomorrow.
All right. That's an interesting game. Let's get to that in a second. Here's the rest of the schedule here. Cardinals at the Rays, Miles Michaelis against Adrian Hauser. Twins at the White Sox, Zebby Matthews against Aaron Savali. I lean White Sox there at home dogs. Guardians are at the Rangers. Slade Ciccone against Nathan Eovaldi. Rangers heavily favored with Eovaldi at -175.
That might
Giants
be a good nerfy. Ciccone's
That's a good.
28-5 to the nerfy in his career.
This is a play.
And Eovaldi's like an 80% nerfy guy in his career too. Rangers have been average first.
We found the play. We found the play then.
That might be the play. Cleveland
-125. That's the play.
Yeah, I think that's
Cleveland, Texas, nerfy. All right. Giants are at the Brewers. Wizen Hunt goes for the Giants. Jose Quintana for the Brewers. Cubs haven't announced the pitcher yet. They're at the Angels and Tyler Anderson. Let's get to this Reds game against the Diamondbacks. Zach Littell against Ryan Nelson. I don't want to bet against the Reds because I think that they are surging and I think they're a playoff team. In fact, if you're asking me who makes the playoffs, Reds or the Mets, I'd lean towards the Reds. But Zach Littell, Jared, is a total regression candidate. He has one of the highest, this is an incredible stat that I love to give out when it comes to pitchers and regression, okay? Zach Littell has the second highest left on base percentage in Major League Baseball. When you have a high left on base percentage, that means, what does that mean? Let me explain it to the audience. A high left on base percentage means that you're allowing runners on base, but they're not scoring. So what are you doing to limit those runs? Well, if you are a high strikeout guy, like Jacob deGrom, who leads Major League Baseball, 84.6% left on base rate, he's a 9.5 K per 9 guy. It makes sense. If you're a high strikeout guy, like another top tier left on base percentage, Hunter Brown, 10.27 Ks per 9. Garrett Crochet, 11 Ks per 9. Zach Wheeler, 11.7 Ks per 9. Tarek Skubal, 11.3 Ks per 9. If you're a high strikeout guy, it makes sense. Sometimes, hey, maybe you walk two guys, maybe you give up a couple of hits, but then you strike out the side and you get out of the inning, you don't allow any runs. I get it. Zach Littell has a 6.1 strikeout per 9, which tells me that he is getting super lucky leaving these runners on base. Maybe he's getting a lot of guys to ground at the double plays. Maybe he's just getting guys to pop out, but he's not getting them out on his own. And I think that this 84.3% left on base percentage is totally a mark for regression. I want to fade Zach Littell.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up his MLB Savant page. He's in the 25th percentile or lower in almost every category. Expected ERA, expected batting average, velo, average exit velo, whiff rate, K rate, barrel rate. He's really good at not walking guys. 99th percentile walk rate. So he's not giving away a lot of free passes. And his chase rate is above average at 79th percentile. But his breaking stuff is poor, and he's giving up a lot of hard contact. It's very fortunate that he hasn't given up more runs. Yes, agreed.
3.5 ERA. His expected ERA is over a run higher.
Yes.
His FIP is over a run higher. That is a regression candidate.
I totally agree. The play I like on the other side is the Ryan Nelson strikeout prop, and that's just because Arizona's a strikeout-heavy team. Or, excuse me, Cincinnati's a strikeout-heavy team, and Nelson's been throwing better lately. I think that goes up. It's 4.5 right now. I think it goes up. I think it closes at 5.5 tomorrow.
So is the play Diamondbacks first 5 innings?
I think the play is Ryan Nelson over 4.5 strikeouts, and then you can play the Diamondbacks first 5.
But if you like the performance of Nelson, and I want to fade Littell, then I think the play has got to be the Diamondbacks in the first 5 innings.
Because I like the prop better personally.
Yeah, sure.
I'm more into the prop market with the baseball, but yeah, first 5 in the Arizona I think makes sense. Absolutely.
Especially because I don't trust that Arizona bullpen. Like, if anything, I might
maybe
the over for the full game.
I think I've only bet one full game side and like 3 or 4 full game totals all year in the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean in Major League Baseball, whereas in the nerfy market, like I've bet 150 nerfies this year and like almost 200 props. Like it's just
nice.
I am just so focused on those two markets because I just am so focused on the starting pitchers and what I can control.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand having to handicap the bullpen. So yes, if you are going to bet Arizona fading Littell, you definitely should go first 5.
Yeah, I might look at an Arizona team total over in the first 5 as well.
Those are also fun bets in the first 5.
Yeah, those are very fun. Those are very fun. Got lucky to cash the Yankees over 2.5 in the first 5 last night. Blooper over Story's head. Dodgers are at the Padres. This is the beginning of the second series that we were anticipating. Last week, the Dodgers swept them, but that was in L.A. The Padres now only 1 game back. Can they take advantage here this weekend? Game 1 tonight, Blake Snell for the Dodgers, Yu Darvish for the Padres. Dodgers minus 125, Jared. Can the Padres take advantage this weekend? They didn't last weekend.
It's the regular season. I'm sure that game's priced right. I wouldn't maybe bet a Yurfie in that game just for fun, but I wouldn't want anything to do with that. Snell's actually had really good Nerfy numbers in his career, 78%. Darvish hasn't been great. Darvish has actually been more of a get him early kind of pitcher at 72%, which is basically average. How about that? Yu Darvish, average Nerfy rate in his career.
Yeah.
A lot of big sample too, almost 300 starts. Yeah. Yurfie or pass, and I'm sure I bet the money line's probably priced right with the Dodgers at this point.
Yeah, I had the Padres last week in all 3 games. I thought that they would have an opportunity, and they didn't. They lost all 3. So do I go back to the well and take the plus money on the Padres again in all 3 of these games this weekend? Thinking hopefully they win a couple? Maybe. I might have to do it. Subject myself to even more punishment. All right, that'll do it for this Friday edition here of the Better Day podcast. A reminder, follow, subscribe to the podcast, rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts from. Apple, Spotify, it goes a long way into helping us grow. We really appreciate the audience and the support that we've gotten so far, and we can't wait to provide you with even more great content as we progress forward. Current new article up on betterday.com on quarterbacks and preseason dropbacks, how important NFL quarterback preseason reps are for week 1 of the regular season. We'll have more content coming your way throughout the week next week as we gear up towards the first week of the NFL regular season. So you want to go ahead and subscribe at betterday.com, BETTORDAY. This way you'll get all the newsletters in your email every single morning, Monday through Friday, and you'll get the articles and things that you need to check out. Also, the picks page is live for you. You can check out the picks there, all for free for you members of the website. Follow Jared on Twitter at JaredSmithBets. You can hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.